If you're someone who's come to this video and you're kind of more interested in how these lights perform rather than just a walkthrough of the features, which you can probably look up online anyway, then I've kind of decided to record. I'm recording this bit second, but I'm going to do it first. So first thing I would suggest is go and take a look at some of my other recent videos. I've put links to them in the description, and they were shot in Vlog on a Panasonic camera and graded using only these lights, and you can see how well the grade has come through, and gives you an example of kind of skin tones and proper usage, I guess, of these lights. But I'm also now, I haven't really got great methods of testing. I'm going to take a picture of a color chart, and I'm going to set my white balance on my 5D, and I'm going to just take a photo under natural light, so sunlight, and I'm then going to just block out all that light, and then I'm going to take a photo using using just these lights. And then I'm going to go into Lightroom, match the white balance, and see how they perform against each other. Here are the two photos of the color chart taken with daylight. So this is very much diffused daylight coming in through a window, so they're not perfect. This isn't a very scientific test because they're not a perfect comparison, these two photos. You've got this one, and then you've got this one taken with the LED light. So I blocked out the daylight, took this with the LED lights. It's a little harsher because they were taken with the lights from, they were fairly direct and a little bit brighter. I've had to adjust the exposure of the daylight one slightly to match. I think, if looking between the two, you can see a difference. There is, a slight difference. I'm looking more at the color of the sofa. Actually, it's got a slight sort of cast to it here. It's not sort of quite as pleasing, I suppose, to look at. If you take a look at the color chart itself, so let's look at this. Not zooming quite so much, but let's just go to there and go to there. If you look at, what you really need to do is look across these colors and look for any of these key colors that change significantly or just noticeably to the eye between the two. And I can't find any. Slightly in the blues here, maybe. A little bit more blue in those. Little difference there. But flicking between these two, you're getting very, very accurate color representation across all of those tiles. So remember, this one on the right here is the LED panel, and this one is the daylight. So LED panel, daylight. And yes, you can see the difference, but it's partially more in the way the photo's taken and the way the lighting was done rather than the actual color representation itself. There you go. That's with a color checker. So these are sort of industry standard colors. This is what you would check against and match against if you were, if you were color correcting in DaVinci or something. You could use this to match against, and I don't think it would have too much work to do by the look of things. So let's get back to the walkthrough of the product itself. Today I want to have a quick chat about this. This is the VNIX LED1000S light from Pixapro. It's an LED light, and it actually says 1000S, but it's actually 1040 LEDs on this. And you can see all those LEDs in there. And I just want to take you round the product. I have been using this for a while. I got this a while ago, and I've been sort of waiting to do a video on it. Didn't do one straight away because I wanted to have some experience with it. First thing to say is it's full metal construction. It comes on a sort of bracket here, so it allows you to angle it and fit it to a standard light stand, as you would expect. But the whole thing is metal, so it's got a pretty good weight to it. It's solid and full metal construction. The only parts that are plastic are the LEDs and the board, and obviously the gels on the front, as you would expect it to be. Power in is 13 to 19 volts via a connector like this, which comes on the provided power supply. The provided power supply, spec-wise, is 19 volts and 3.4 amps. So sufficient to power this light. Now these connectors are good because they're solid, they screw into place, but of course then if you do pull them, they're going to stay in place and they're going to potentially pull the whole light down rather than just popping out. So kind of good and bad, but in my case I prefer connectors like this that actually clip into place or screw into place. They're just more sturdy and they're more designed for sort of regular and harder use. Then just less likely to break on you with a solid metal connector like this. Power on off, and they do support DMX, so you can connect these to a console, a lighting console, if you have the need to do that. They come with a dimmer, so the dimming, this doesn't have a hard stop on it, it just turns around continuously, but it is marked on here, and they go from 10% brightness up to full 100% brightness. This is 5,600 Kelvin, this variety. You can get sort of mixed varieties, but of course the amount of light that they put out reduces then. They support the Sony VP battery, which connects to those. I don't have any of those, bit expensive for me, the VP batteries. I'm just using these on mains. These retail at about £230 from Pixapro. They have 2.4 gig antenna that fits to there, which allows you to use them with a remote. It's a very basic remote, but it's a remote nonetheless, and it does what you need it to do. Ratings on these, TLCI is 95 and CRI is 95 as well. So CRI you're probably familiar with, the color rendering index, sorry, it's 95 plus on CRI. And TLCI of 95 is actually extremely high. It's very, very good. And read up about that online, because I don't know sort of everything about TLCI. It's a more of a kind of current rating, and it fits better, I suppose, with video, digital video capture. It was, I think it was devised by Alan Roberts. So his name seems to come up absolutely everywhere. A guy who used to work at the BBC and he used to do kind of white papers on cameras and things and testing anyway, somebody claims that he came up with this rating, and it's a kind of more current rating and a more accurate rating really if you're going to be shooting digital video. So these have people recommend that you look for lights if you're going to do professional stuff that have a TLCI of over 90. These are at 95, so you should be pretty happy that these are going to produce a good broad range of the spectrum and represent colours accurately. The only things I would say so far, and this might be my limited use of kind of things like barn doors, is that I find that these are kind of badly constructed in the way that they actually get in the way of certain, it's hard to give you an example here, but I'm going to try. So if you look at the clasp on the top, there, because that's fastened, if I push that in, that's kind of catching on the barn door there. If I take that out and I can pull this gel out, and they do come with, I'll show you the other bits they come with. That goes in like that, and now that completely catches on there, which is, if you don't know about it, you've got quite a lot of leverage here, so that's going to potentially snap this bracket or break this plastic bit here, because this little piece is plastic. So there's just little oversights where they just could be designed a little bit nicer, but for all I know, that could be commonplace with barn doors. You know, they just kind of get in the way, but they do a job. But that works, you know. Let me just show it you without the gel on. Oh, why is that? See now, why is that one jammed? Ah, see now, see what I mean? Look, that one's just got jammed under the screw of this here. I mean, can you see that? Can you see that in the light? I'm not sure there's enough light there. This one's just got jammed under this nut here, so I need to now push that one back slightly to remove this one out. Again, this could be my lack of experience with this type of thing, and it could be commonplace when you're dealing with just sheets of metal and moving them around like that. So there you go, there's all the 1040 LEDs. They also come with, here you have the DMX cable and the manual, and there are the antennas. It comes with one antenna for each light. I've just got two in the bag there. And also, I'll show you the remote. It's nothing fancy at all. There you go. There's the remote that it comes with, and you just have it off, and you can select the channel it works on, so you can have multiple lights working on different channels. Nice strobe effect there. And then you can just control the brightness. So I think that's channel. Well, it's off at the moment. So, and then we've got brightness, and then you can control color temperature as well on here. So you can do quite a lot from the one remote. It works fine. And then they also come with a gel, like a tungsten gel as well. I also bought these additional softbox type things for them, which just fit over the barn doors, and then you just push the barn doors out, and so they're not elasticated. They're a little elasticated at the back here, but not much. They rely on the barn doors to hold this in place. Definitely worth the extra purchase of this, because it does soften out the light quite considerably compared to just using the gel. So far I've been extremely happy with them. They're 60 something watts, I believe. I think it says on the back. 64 watts. So they provide a light output. I'm going to have to check this now. There we go, one incredibly important stat I just forgot. So 8,900 lux at 1 meter. Pretty good. Pretty good level of brightness. In fact, I'm using one of these to light what I'm recording at the moment. So you can't really tell much from that. But it looks nice enough. And there you go. That's a quick look at the VNIX LED1000S light from Pixapro. Really happy with it. A couple of minor problems on the first lot that I had, which I don't want to sort of put you off by, but this board on the inside is kind of weird. So if you just look at, I've got two of these, by the way. If you look at this here, the board was pushed, was lifted and bulged out over these two. I had to take this bracket off for the board to just drop down. It was just like a fault in manufacturing or something. And they were absolutely fine about it. They would have replaced it, but I just said, yeah, it's fine. I've done it myself. And it was no problem, but a bit weird. You know, they're not, I don't think these are, you know, you can spend thousands on lights, can't you? But if you are on a bit of a budget, but you need something that's good quality, because, you know, 250 quid on a light is still not super cheap, but these are going to provide great results. And again, I'll point you to those videos that I'll put links to in the description to show you kind of what sort of results you can expect from these. Any questions? Let me know in the comments below. If you're thinking about getting something like this, or if you want some sample footage or something, let me know. And thanks very much for watching.